Welcome to the second part of our session on managing references using the EndNote program. This is a practical session and we are going to start off by creating an EndNote library, and then we look at the other features of the library. Whether you are using Windows 8 or the latest versions of Windows, or whether you are using Windows 7 and below, you need to go to Start Programs and select EndNote program. So you go to Start and then you select the EndNote program, and then the library window will open, an empty library window will open, and we are ready to start. Now, before we start generating references, let's have a look at the windows, at the library window and the features that are there. So from the top menu of the page, there is a file menu. If you click the file menu, it will help you to create a new library, open an existing library, and also to close the library window. You can save a copy of your library. You can also import your library to a folder. You can print the setup, and you are also able to compress the library so that you are able to send it in your email, because the library is actually bulky. When you compress it, it becomes light to attach as a file on your email. Then the edit menu, it shows, it's just like in Microsoft Word. You are able to change the text, you are able to change the font of the display in the library, the size, the style. You are also able to change the output style or the reference style, the referencing style. You can also import filters. Filters help us to search online for references. You can also connect to files. You can edit Pubmed. You can go to the connection manager where you can access the different connection files that will help you to access references on the internet. Then the last one, which is preferences, it helps you to look at the different preferences in EndNote. You can change the case of the display font. You can change the fields. Use EndNote Web. You can find duplicates. You can format the library. You can there's quite a lot that you can do using the preferences option. Then when we go to references, this one will help you to create a new reference. If you're going to do it manually, you can copy your references to another library. You can attach files. You can view the PDF if you want to print, or if you want to zoom it, if you want to rotate it. You can also find full text. Then it has also a provision for URL. It can help you to locate the URL, and you can also attach a figure. It has a lot of various other functionalities. Under groups, it can help you to create a group. In most cases, when we do research, we do different kinds of research, and we wouldn't want to mix the references to put them in one place. So the groups can help you to categorize your references according to the research that you're doing. For example, you can create a group. I'm going to create a group of my research on HIV AIDS, and that is where I'm going to save my references on HIV and AIDS. And then I'll create another one on malaria, and this is where I'll store all the references on my research on malaria. So you can create as many groups as you want to be able to make sure that you don't mix up the references in one group. Then the tools menu, you can search the library. You can go online and you make a search. You can format your paper using the tools menu. You can also look at the manuscript templates depending on which publisher you are going to use to publish your paper. Then there is a window menu, and this one will take you back to your library, and it can also help you to close all libraries. it has a lot of functionalities, as you can see. Then there is a help menu, which can help you to get information if you need more information about EndNote, how to use the help, how to use the web support, how to get the EndNote program updates. All that you can find the information from help, or you can also use the F1 key to show you the help menu. Now, as you can see, the EndNote library page is divided into 3 parts. The left-hand column is my library, where you find all the references that are generated in the library. You find the trash. If you delete any references, they'll go into the trash, and it will be showing you how many references have been deleted or are in the trash. Then there is my groups, and there is online search. You can search Library of Congress, you can search Pubmed, you can search Web of Science, and there are even more online search databases that you can get. If you click on more, it takes you to all the various databases that you can search. And it also shows you, if you have, for example, searched the Library of Congress and you have retrieved 10 references, here it will be showing you that you searched the Library of Congress and you retrieved 10 references. So in the middle pane is where the references will be displayed. Each reference that you generate and you enter into the library, it will be generated in this open pane, and it will be generated organized as according to these fields. There is that clip, that is attachment, then it will be organized by author, the year of publication of that document, the title of the document, the journal where that document was published, the reference type, the website address, and when it was last updated. The fields are so many, it is showing just a few as an example. Now below is another lane called preview. You can preview how the references will look like in the Word document after you cite. Then there is also a search. If you click on search, it brings you search window with author, year, and title, and you can change these accordingly when you're searching. If you want to search by title, for example, you select title here, and then you type in the title that you want to search. You can hide this pane if you want to look at all the references and you don't need the pane, and you can also show it if you want to preview what you have done. So let's start by creating the first reference. And as I said earlier in the first presentation, you can generate references in 3 different ways. The first way is to generate references manually, and to do this, you go to references and you select new references, which will open this window with very many fields. As you can see, the fields start with author of the document that you're going to enter in the library, the year when that document was published, the title of the document, the journal where the document was published, if it is a journal, the volume of the journal and the issue number of the journal where it was published, the page numbers, and all these other various fields. There are quite many. So you fill these fields and then you file and save. But before we start entering our first reference, we need to look at the reference type. You can enter into EndNote, you can cite different various reference types, but the default one is a journal article. So when you change the reference type, the fields down here change also accordingly. For example, let's select a book. Let's select a book. If you want to cite a book, the fields will change according to the book specifications. And for example, if you want to cite a manuscript or a newspaper article, it will show, instead of the author, it will show the reporter of the news article, the year when it was published, the title of the article, the newspaper where that article was published, and the place of publication, and all these other various fields. So you fill these and then you file and save your reference. So we are going to start with the default one, which is the journal article, and we are going to start by typing in the author of the article. So you start by the last name, separate with a comma, and you put the first name. So Mangen Stephen. And in instances where the article has been authored by more than one author, each author must have a separate title, a separate line. Stephen is our second author, and Mania, Mary. So this article was authored by 3 authors, and it was authored in 2009, and the title is Prevalence of HIV and AIDS in Uganda. It was published in the AIDS Journal, Volume 2, issue number 4. And that exact article was published from page 12 to page 20. So you do not have to fill all these various fields because, as I said, there are quite many, and you are not going to need them during the citation. What you put here is what is going to appear in your references in your document. So let's stop at the page numbers. We file and save the reference. And to view the reference that we have saved, you go to Window and select the library, and that is the reference that we have entered manually. And if you want to look at how it will appear in the bibliography, you go to Preview, and then it shows down here. Now automatically it shows in the APA style because this is what we have selected here. That is what is there already. But supposing we want to display it, for example, in the Vancouver style, we have to go here and select the Vancouver style, and it will change accordingly, according to the Vancouver output style. These styles are very many. They are about 300 plus, and they are all not displayed here. If you want to select a style that you are not able to see here, you go to select another style, and it will bring you to another window of the various output styles that are available in EndNote. So for example, if we want to use the Lancet style, they are all arranged alphabetically from A to Z. So let me select the Lancet style, and I choose that one, and that's what shows here, and also it changes accordingly here. So these are the different styles, and it doesn't matter if you have written your paper using the APA style. At the last minute, it is just a click away to click and change the output style of your choice. So this is the first way of generating references manually. Let's also generate another reference manually, but this time we are going to cite a book, not a journal article. So I'll go to References, select New Reference, and before I start filling the fields, I select a book. So my book was authored by Mandela Nelson in 2001, and the title was Freedom at Last. The editor was Nana Julie. The place of publication was published in Johannesburg, and the publisher was NK Publications. It was in one volume, so I don't have to put anything on the volume field, and it has 209 pages. So this is my reference, my book reference, that I am going to file and save. And to view it, I go to Window, to my library, and there is the book I'm going to cite that was authored by Nelson Mandela. And under the reference type, you can see the difference. The first one was a journal article. The second one is a book. So whatever reference type you want to whatever reference type of reference you want to cite, it will always show accordingly, as long as you make sure that you select the right type here before you start filling the fields. It will show the way it is supposed to show. So let's get back to our window, library window, and we go to the second way of generating references. This was the first way of generating references using the manual, typing in references manually. The second one is we can go online and make a search. Already there are some databases that are showing. There is Library of Congress, there is EBSCO, there is Pubmed, there is Web of Science, and if you click here, there are many more, but we shall use Pubmed as an example. So when you click on Pubmed, immediately this window opens and it is ready. It shows online search, Pubmed, Medline at Pubmed, NLM is National Library of Medicine, and then you're free to start your search. So I'm going to make a search here, but before I start, there are options here, the search options. The first one is author, the next line is year of publication. So this is author of the publication that we will search, and this is the title. You can add other columns if you want. We're going to start by author and write the name of the author. You leave it as author. Of course, if you started with title, you are still free to select the title here. But since this is an author, we are going to leave it as author. And then where there is year of publication, we can actually call this a keyword or a text word, a text term. In previous versions like EndNote 9, EndNote 10, it is not called text terms, it is a keyword. But in this version of EndNote, it's called text term. So the text term, we're going to say HIV and AIDS. The title, meaning that the title that comes should include the word Uganda. So we are going to leave the title as is. We are not going to change here, and we put the word Uganda and we make a search. Yes, it has given us one result, one record, and it shows here 1 out of 1, 1 through 1. If it had searched and gotten 3 references, it would be showing 1 out of 3, but this is strictly 1 that was found following this search query. And I'm going to say OK so that I bring it into the library. So when you click on OK, it comes into the library and it actually hides the references that were already there. So this is to Mwine James etc, and it has hidden these other 2 references that were there. But if you click on all references, all the contents of the library will be displayed. So we have 3 references in the library now. The 2 were manually generated. The third one, which is Tumwine JK, which was authored by Tumwine JK, we searched Pubmed within EndNote and were able to get this reference that was published in 2002. Now, the third way of generating references is to go to a database and you search, and then you export the reference into the EndNote library. So let's quickly go to a database and make a search. We shall go to Kinengyere and we select, the journals are arranged alphabetically by journal title. So I'm going to look for the Lancet journal, which should be under L, and look for Lancet, the Lancet here, and select. So once the journal opens, you can select the title of your choice, an article of your choice from the various volumes that are displayed. So I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, the third, the fourth article, and I try to open it up to the abstract page. When your exporting the reference of an article that has been published in Science Direct, you need to go to the abstract page and then you try to export the reference into EndNote. So I go to this export, and when you click on export, the download comes down here and you click it, and then it comes into the library. And just like the previous references, it hides the other references that were there, but you can still bring them back by clicking on all references. So this is the reference that we have just generated from Kinengyere and exported into EndNote. So right now we have 4 references in our library, and at this stage we are now going to start our Word document, and we cite the references that are already in the library. So let's create a Word document and we start citing while automatically generating references at the end of the document. So I'll type my references here. So the references will be coming down below the references where I've typed references. I'm going to start writing and citing. HIV/AIDS remains a serious public health concern among the youth aged between 15 and 24 years in sub-Saharan Africa, where the epidemiology varies across regions. And I'm citing this because I picked it from somewhere. Now, to be able to put your citation here, make sure you leave space, just one space, between the last word and where the full stop is. And once you have positioned your cursor, you go to EndNote up here. You still go to EndNote, and that one should open the EndNote library. And you select the author that you're citing, highlight it, and you export the reference and the citation. So here is the reference, and down here below references is the bibliography that has been automatically generated. So let's continue. An estimated 50% of all new infections occur in this age group. In East Africa, the HIV prevalence in adults ranges from 3 to 7% according to the 2010 Joint United Nations Program on HIV and AIDS, with females disproportionately affected than males. I also got this from somewhere, so I'm going to cite to make a citation here. So I'll go to EndNote and select the appropriate reference, and then I insert it. And once I have inserted it, it will show here, and the reference will come down here. And as you note, we started with Mangeni, but now the next one comes on top. This is because EndNote arranges the references alphabetically. You don't have to do it manually. It is done automatically. Now I continue to cite, but then along the way I remember that, oh, I should have used the Vancouver style, but then it looks like I'm using the Harvard style here. So I am going to change to the Vancouver style here, but when I change to the Vancouver style here, I also have to change the style in the EndNote library. So I'm going to select Vancouver style, and automatically the citations will change and the reference format will also change to the Vancouver style. But if I don't change to the Vancouver style also in the library, then it means the citations will remain in that style that is shown in the library. So we have to select the Vancouver style also here to make sure that it's the same style that will be applied in the Word document. So I continue to type. Children are the most affected by HIV/AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa. And this one I also got it from the literature that I reviewed, and I have to cite it. So before I put my full stop, I'll put space, and then I go and get the citation from the library. But this time
I want to use a shortcut. I don't have to click on go to EndNote to be able to go to the library. I can use the Alt 1 key, which will take me to the library, and I select the reference, and then I say Alt and 2. Automatically the citation is inserted in the Word document, and also the citation, the reference is also at the end of the document. This is how you can use EndNote to generate references and bibliography. Now when you finish, as you notice, there are codes that are brought in by EndNote. If you click on the first citation, for example, there is that big shade that covers the whole reference. If you go to the second one, the shade will be there. And also if you click on just one reference, the whole block of references will be shaded, meaning that there are still field codes that came from EndNote. Now to remove this, in most cases when you're going to send your document for publication, for review, they will ask you to remove those field codes because they disturb when they are reviewing the work. So you need to send a plain text. And how do we get the plain text? We make sure that we detach this document now from EndNote. And to do it, we are going to remove the field code. So we go to Convert Citations and Bibliography, and you go to that drop down menu, and you select Convert to Plain Text. Now when you click that, there will be a notice that will come that this command will create a new copy of your Word document and remove all special EndNote markers from it. The new document will appear in a new unsaved document window. The original file will remain unopened and untouched. Do you wish to continue? Then you say yes. If you say yes, you will have removed the codes from the document, and this is the clean document without codes that you are supposed to submit to the publishers. But meanwhile, the other one that was not saved, the other document remained untouched, which still has the field codes. It remains untouched, unsaved. It remains untouched because once you get reviewers' comments, you need to go back to the original one with field codes to make the corrections. So you can save this, and you also save the new document separately. And this is what you are going to send to for publication. So this marks the end of the second part of the session. Thank you for listening. And if you need any more information about EndNote, please go to the manual, Start Programs, and you select. There is the Getting Started guide and the manual. So if you go to the Getting Started, it will open that guide, and you can always use these contents here to look at, to select any subject or any chapter that you want to get more information about. Thank you very much for listening in.